Well, good Monday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods here on this Monday morning. Hope all of you guys are doing great. Hope you had a great weekend. It was hot as hell this weekend. We had some bad thunderstorms that came through last night, dropped the temperature back down, and it's actually feeling pretty good outside, although we're going to get some more rain the next couple of days. So we're going to try and see if we can use the outdoor studio. I forgot how much fun it is to be out there. This week is a big week for the Dallas Cowboys because starting tomorrow, OTAs take it up another level. OTAs now start getting close to being physical. Now, understand, you cannot hit. There's no pads involved in this because this is the off-season workouts and things. The NFL is not like it used to be. Back in the day, you used to go ahead and go live. But now, the kinder, gentler NFL, there is no tackling to the ground. There are no padded practices. And this is where it's crazy to me because I had a flashback when I was coming back up the road, up Interstate 81, going past JMU. JMU, it's amazing because when I played football there, if you've ever been to JMU Stadium, you'll know one side is really low, the side that faces Godwin Hall. That was the tall side of the stadium. The other side was even lower, and it wasn't enclosed on the end, and the physical arts building wasn't there on the end. You could just see straight through to Eagle Hall. But as I was coming up the road, the lights were all on the stadium and things, and knowing that this is late May, I started thinking about spring football. And I remember in spring football, if you survived without getting injured in spring football, okay, you got a shirt that said, "I hit for 20." We also had other shirts that were like spring brawl because we had 20 padded practices full go in the springtime. You don't have 20 padded practices in the NFL and training camp anymore. And when I talk about live, it's tackling to the ground. This is full go. This is Tennessee drills. The NFL, no. And it still mystifies me, and I still believe that part of the reason why we have the injuries that we have is it's like training for a NASCAR race, driving 55 miles an hour. And only going up to 200 miles an hour when you actually are in the race. You've got to train the way you're going to play. To me, your body gets used to the pounding, the hitting, and everything else, but they don't do it anymore. And I honestly believe that that's in lies part of the reason why we have so many of the injuries. But be that as it may, this week we'll step it up another notch, where the players will be actually close to actually full go. You know, it will be, we're doing all the movements at full speed and things, offensive linemen trying to beat, to basically get your hands on the defensive linemen and things, just not full contact like you would if you had pads on. But it's a great way for the team to start really evaluating and start looking at the players and seeing who the real dogs are going to be on this roster. Who are the guys that you start penciling in as your starters and things? And this is when you start installing the offense and the defense and things and start getting the players up to speed. There's so much classroom work and there's so much complexity in the offenses and defenses that all of this stuff is key. And the advantage for the Dallas Cowboys is technically these are actually voluntary. Mandatory minicamp does not actually happen until June. But here's the thing. The Cowboys have 100% participation, and that's great. You want to have that. Now, we got some bad news here today. Of course, opinions are like assholes, and everybody has them. Peter King has come out with his ranking right now, and right now he's falling in love with the Philadelphia Eagles like most of the people are. I see the Eagles as the best team in the East. I see Jalen Hurts doing enough to be a C-plus quarterback with the addition of A.J. Brown. I see the receiving core of Brown, Devontae Smith, Quaz Watkins, and Zach Padel being good enough to make the Eagles a top 10 offense. I see Hassan Reddick returning to a scene of his prime. He played college football at Temple, and James Bradbury fortifying a cornerback depth chart that makes this the best defense in the NFC East. What I like about the Eagles have done this offseason is this. They create a team with a legitimate chance of winning now, with a legitimate offense that make a judgment on Jalen Hurts as a future quarterback. GM Howie Roseman has done it while still retaining enough pieces for the future to address the quarterback position if needed in 2023. Roseman has 3 picks in the first 2 rounds next year and 3 picks in the first 2 rounds of 2024. He's done his job. He's built a team for 22, and he has built a team you can do a U-turn in 23 if need be. The Eagles are better on both sides of the ball than they were in January, and that capped by the Bradbury signing. In the end, they have a chance to win a game in January. The biggest addition was Brown, and I think he can be a difference in a game 2 or 3. AJ was a DNA match with us, Roseman said. After the trade, he actually what we were looking for in a receiver, and he matched our culture. Good ad. Eagles, top 10. Well, let's go down here. From there, they have San Francisco at 10. New Orleans at 11, 9-8 out of the playoffs. Tennessee at 12-6, lost in the divisional round. Raiders 10-8 last year. Denver 7-10 out of the playoffs. And here it is, we get to the Cowboys. Okay, he did a great analysis on the Eagles. Great analysis. You know, he went through all the players that they brought in and everything else and how they fit in and stuff. Let's see what he has to say about the Cowboys. Cowboys do lead the league in drama most year. The Raiders have eclipsed them, though, in the last 12 months, but the Cowboys will be in the distraction ball game soon somehow. Last year was clock management as the Dallas Cowboys season ended with Dak Prescott trying to get one more play off after scrambling with no timeouts against the Niners. 2 weeks of about 2 weeks of Mike McCarthy clock management and Prescott's game management followed. I will pick the Eagles ahead of Dallas because the Eagles got significantly better this offseason and Dallas worse with the subtraction of 2 key contributors, Amari Cooper and Randy Gregory, and the addition of none. Oh, and the 2 best pieces of protection for Prescott, tackle Tyron Smith and guard Zach Martin, both turned 32 this season and have missed 26 games combined due to injuries over the last 2 years. On their best days, the Cowboys can play with everyone except maybe Buffalo. The problem is they don't have enough best days. Okay. All right. If we want to have some better news, maybe this is where it gets to be interesting. Let's go back and turn back the clock, because this is what I love. Because once you put something on the internet, it's there forever. Last year, here's what he said about us last year. 21. He had us as the 21st team. Mind you, look who he put in front of us last year. The New York Giants. Yeah, he had the New York Giants ahead of us. But let's listen to exactly what he said last year. The best player in the NFC East is back, and if Dak Prescott is what he was when we saw him for a season 2019, 4,902 yards passing, 30 TDs, with the receiving course bettered by CeeDee Lamb, Dallas will be in the NFC East mix in late December. The bigger question is the defense. Obviously, imagine giving up in the 8 of the 16 games, 33 or more points. And then imagine being alive on the last weekend of the season with Andy Dalton at the helm. So much of the season depends on the defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn's ability to do what Mike Nolan couldn't last year. Install a complex system, much of that in Zoom meetings, and get players ready to react by opening day. Quinn is the Dallas Cowboys' 3rd defensive coordinator in the last 18 months, and in an ideal world, Quinn's Seattle's coordinator in 2013 and 14 hopes he's found his Bobby Wagner as the nerve center of the defense with first-round pick Micah Parsons. but Quinn will need to hide a lot of warts in a porous secondary. So I guess in some regard, the fact that he has us at 15 compared to 21 last year is pretty good. Because ahead of us last year, of course, he had, like I said, the New York Giants. He actually had the Giants ahead of us. He had the Washington Commanders ahead of us. I think everyone will look at Washington football team and figure, nothing to see here. They will fall to earth with a thud this year. Not me. Washington went down 5-2, went 5-2 down the stretch last year to steal the all-time lousy NFC East that gave Bucks a game in a wild card round. In that 5-2 run, Washington allowed 15.9 points per game. 4 of those wins came on the road: Dallas, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, and Philly. And each of those foes scored in the teens. Edge twin Chase Young and Montez Sweat might be the best young pass rushing combination in the game. I'm bullish on this team if Ryan Fitzpatrick is efficient enough to lead the offense. No guarantees there, because he will be a never guaranteed with a Fitzmagic. This is a 9-8 or 10-7 team if it can survive the Chargers, Bills, Saints, Packers the first 7 weeks. Okay. So I'm not going to take a whole lot of stock in this, because the reality is most people are way off on their predictions of what's going to happen during a season. Football, it's one of those things you can't really figure out. Now, here's an interesting piece here that we're going to roll on out with is Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is being seen everywhere. I saw a TMZ clip yesterday with him at like a trampoline park, doing somersaults and flicks. We've seen him at hockey games and stuff, dropping the puck before the guys get on the field. He is everywhere, and I hope that this season on the field that he is going to be everywhere. Now, here's where it starts to get interesting. Vegas odds for Defensive Player of the Year. He's one of the guys on the list. Let's go to NFL Total Access and see what they have to say.
He is special, and he can add to his resume with a great sophomore campaign. Last year's Defensive Rookie of the Year, trying to do something only 2 other players have ever done before. That's win Rookie Defensive Player of the Year honors, and then follow it up with an NFL Defensive Player of the Year award. Lawrence
That
Taylor,
would be big.
Luke Kuechly, the only other guys to do it. That is impressive company. What's Vegas say? What are the odds here? Parsons in the mix, but not the favorites. Myles Garrett leading the way, TJ Watt, and that Aaron Donald guy, I heard he's pretty good too.
It's good.
Yeah, he is. And with that, we welcome you into our studios. It's a Friday edition of Total Access. I was told before the show we were allowed to have fun.
Yes.
So we intend to do that.
I was about to leave. How about a pop? I'm back, everybody.
With Adam Rank here, I can guarantee we will have some fun. We'll do some rankings with Rank. The alliteration is there.
I don't know. There were some production meetings, and it wasn't going my direction.
Yeah, you got denied. Don't worry. Like
a number of times.
You'll get your airtime. It's all good. Not to mention wide receivers also the focus with Hawk here. And Chargers fans don't go anywhere. But we are talking about defense. Micah Parsons sort of leading the show here, because we always talk about the dudes, the skill position guys who got into the end zone, like Hawk. So I'm going to ask you to put your defensive cap on for just a second here. Can he do that? Can Micah Parsons do what LT and Kuechly did, which is win Rookie of the Year on, or excuse me, Defensive Rookie of the Year honors, then follow it up as the Defensive Player of the Year?
Unfortunately, no, because his name is not Myles Garrett or Aaron Donald. Now, I had those picks before I seen the Vegas odds, because I think Myles Garrett is going to ball out this year. They have a lot of talent on defense. He plays a lot of favorable quarterbacks and offensive lines in their schedule, especially early on. So I think he is going to rack up a ton of stats, numbers. They have to figure out who's going to be at the D end opposite him. I think it's going to be.
You against that, because Myles Garrett is one of the best in the league, but Parsons was second last year. He finished ahead of Aaron Donald. So, and he also plays for a marquee franchise. And a lot of times, I don't want to say that the voters are lazy, which we expect him to. He will definitely be in contention once again.
Don't we just kind of assume guys get better as 1 year under their belt, year 2?
No, he's going to ball out. Now, there will be a little harder for him in his second year, and that's the other concern. Not concern, but, he burst onto the scene a year ago. not to say we didn't know he was a good player, but nobody knew he would be that good that early. This year, offenses are going to go into those games planning to stop Micah Parsons. He is the guy that you focus on, and it's going to be harder for him to rack up those stats.
Solid point. That is it. No, when you're the one who's identified. No, I'm just saying. I'm not going to sit here and try to make TV drama. It's a solid point.
Well, yesterday there was.
I'm sorry.
Bucky was sitting where Hawk was. These two dudes were going back and forth.
We went TV drama.
I could do it. I could do it. But why? It was a good point.
I know you actually want to get along in the commercial.
No,
Well, this is the conundrum. Because, you know, if you think about where Chase Young was at this point last year, Chase Young, of course, was the reincarnation of defense. That everybody looked at Chase Young and said, man, that guy's going to be a beast. He's going to be a monster. They're not going to stop him. Well, again, Peter King basically said they had the best young defensive ends in football. And Chase Young came out and couldn't beat average tackles before he ended up getting hurt. Hopefully nothing like this happens with Micah Parsons. Hopefully Micah Parsons, with his upbringing, and if any of you saw the interview I did with his father a few months back, you know how he was brought up to not take things for granted, to understand that if you want something, you have to earn it. So that's where I feel that we are actually in good shape as far as Micah Parsons. Now, knowing that he's going into his second season, knowing that offense is going to be looking and saying, we must stop Micah Parsons, they're going to start developing game plans to try and stop him. And this is where Dan Quinn, who gets to be the mad scientist, who has now, to me, I know everybody's going to say the Eagles have a better defense, but I'm going to tell you, I think the Dallas Cowboys defense across the board has filled in holes like we have not in a long time. It's been a long time since you can look and say we have a decent front line, that we have a decent interior defensive line, that we have guys that have some speed and strength and size in the middle. All these things bode well for the linebackers, and being able to have edge rushers on the outside. It may not be that you're looking at guys that are necessarily the best of pass rushers, that, you know, you got 15, TJ Watt and things, but collectively being able to send wave after wave of really good players is the way you win. If we go back to the Seattle Seahawks, they didn't have superstars on that defense per se. They had, I mean, don't get me wrong, everybody got love. Bobby Wagner, of course, Richard Sherman and things, Earl Thomas. But collectively, that defense was good all around, that there wasn't really a weakness in there, and they could come after you. And so that's where I look at it and say, Dan Quinn will be able to use Micah Parsons, not only as a middle linebacker, but to use him as a pass rush specialist on certain downs. And also disguise it as well, where the offense is seeing him in the A gap, and he backs off of it. These are tricks that Dan Quinn gets to come up with, and you can do these things when you have the right personnel, and I think Dan Quinn has got the right personnel. With that being said, I got some work to do in the workshop here, y'all, and I'm going to go get to that. And as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Don't forget, tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, we have our live stream. Monday night, we'll be doing a preview of OTAs, which begin tomorrow. And don't forget, keep your thoughts and prayers for our buddy Stuart Morrison. Thus far, we have raised $5,600 for working on his house. We're still working on the plans together to get everything in there. Today, I should find out a lot more and be able to solidify when exactly we're going to be there. I know we have a lot of people who want to be part of it, and we're going to be scheduling together because this is going to be a home rebuild. With that being said, we're going to get out of here.
Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.